Welcome everyone to the Pantheon. I'm Ray.
And I'm Evie.
And Evie, what are we looking at today?
Endgame, we're
That's right.
looking at today.
hmm It
Yeah.
is
What?
the crown jewel, right? You would say that?
Oh, definitely. It was a really, really good movie. Loved it. Watched it maybe two or three or even four times. I did.
hmm
I thought it was. I thought it was thrilling, excited. Never knew like what happened until the very end. Some of the characters were they were good.
hmm
You know, I was kind of thinking, who's next? Who's next? It was really well done. I'm not going to say anything about it because just in case no people still have to see it. I thought it was really well done, and every time I think about it, I have a smile on my face. What is your view about the whole thing, Ray?
Well, question. This is a quick question. In terms of how it's uh, spaced, the way the commercial was promoted about it was in black and white, and they're really focusing on the defeat, like the focusing on the drama. So when you open up, it's dramatic. Because that's what I wanted to expect. Because the last thing the last thing we saw was a cliffhanger, and it puts us, the audience, in a very dramatic spot. So vicariously, I wanted to experience that feeling. I wanted to have that carryover, and going into that visceral emotional depth. I wanted to feel the stakes. I wanted to feel the drama, and I think they did this really, really well. I think they really captured that emotional headspace of where heroes are lost, both in terms of, like, if they had a hubris, it is now gone. They tasted defeat in many respects, loss, and how you cope with that, like that emotional loss, that sense of defeat, and that burden of responsibility that you have to carry, how you failed. you know so I really relished that, and I heard people talk and say it was too long. Did you feel that way? Because personally, I really wanted that full immersion of, like, going through the trenches of, like, what they went through.
I really never thought about that. I was just glued to the film, like what's going to happen.
Mhm.
Yeah, I didn't think it was film too long at all. I didn't feel that, not like Justice League, although Justice League was good.
Mhm.
Yeah, both of those films, yeah, I just was glued to everything or to that film especially. I would give that like a 10 if I was asked.
Right.
Your views?
Oh no, I give it a 10 too. And the reason why I was saying about that is, like, because it's a 10, like, its pacing was good for you then. Like, you felt it, like, even at all of it, like in every aspect of it, like, you were on board, and you didn't feel it was rushed. You didn't feel like it was kind of contrived. It was okay for you, right?
Yeah, it was great.
Mhm.
I liked it. Anyway, I'd watch it again and again and again.
What was the highlight for you in this film?
Well, the very end,
hmm
when everybody thinks that everybody might die or who is gonna get the last tesseract, you know, I didn't know who would live, who would die. That, yeah, I really liked it. It was
Did you?
amazing.
mhm.
Anyway, I thought so. Your
Did you?
views?
Sorry, I was gonna say, but did you, like, after the film? Did you ever ponder, like, okay, what's coming next? Like, Did you have any theorizing, like, okay, so now that I've seen the end, like, seen the movie,
Mm.
was there, like, things were you pondering, like, like Loki escaped, Captain America had to bring everything back, uh,
Yeah.
you know, and he went back in time to be with Peggy. I'm not gonna give too much away, but, like, in terms of things that took place, you know and certain characters can't come back, like,
Right.
because they weren't killed by the snap. So certain people can't come back, so in terms of Captain going back in time, were there any things that you were theorizing or thinking about in the aftermath of seeing the movie,
Mm.
or things that you were curious about, like things that popped in your mind that you were wondering?
Yeah, I was sad about Iron Man
Hmm.
and what happened like to him, and because I really liked his boastfulness. He
Hmm.
thought he was the top, attitude like I'm the best, blah blah blah.
Right.
So I'm sad about what happened to him actually,
Hmm.
you know, and also Captain America, like yeah, I was sad at the end actually. And you, Ray?
Well, with regarding Tony, I think I loved his performance. I mean, that whole thing with 3000 that made me cry. That's when I got emotional. You know, I love
3000?
I love you 3000. His daughter would tell him.
Oh, okay.
You know, the one, yeah. So because that became a thing. Like I love you 3000. That was like, it was like that thing like the Mandalorian. It is the way.
Right. Okay.
This was their little expression that they became like
Okay.
underground. And then I with the children, like with Ant-Man's like Cassie, because they're gonna grow up. You
Hmm.
see Harley from Iron Man 3 at the end. At
Yeah.
first, I didn't know who I was looking at. So you're seeing the children of the next generation coming in, and you're seeing
Right.
where the potential is. Uh,
Hmm.
I I was, yeah, I was happy with the ending. I was sad
Okay.
about the ending. Uh, and the whole thing was strange, saying there's only one way out of this.
Hmm.
Out of the million possibilities, there's only one way. Convoluted as the plot is, and what they had to go through, it was still genuinely fun to watch. And the loss and the stakes, and not realizing the extent of what they have to go through was interesting.
Right.
And the fact that they had to go back further in time, and just to try to redo or undo their mistakes, was brilliant. And yeah, and it was never easy, and you kind of go in that journey of with them. When they had to go back to the military base, Tony and Iron Man, because they lost because Hulk knocked the case off of him and Loki escaped. So going back even further to get the parts, really kind of really sold it for me. And what sold it for me more was the fact that Bruce was telling the Ancient One, like, if we go back to the point before it was taken to restore the timeline, and then the part where it's like they kind of verify how Back to the Future's logic doesn't really make sense, like how it doesn't work. So
Hmm.
so I like the idea of the concept of the multiverse and the concept of like time travel, like how it actually works in terms of a logistical way, and why Back to the Future doesn't make sense. And then once I actually understood the science, I actually had to watch a YouTube show on the science of why the Back to the Future thing didn't work, and why that is, like the chaos effect. And once I realized that, then I'm like, oh, okay. So now I understand what Hulk was saying. It took me a while to try to get my mind around that. And then using the shield and Thor's hammer against Thanos was amazing. Getting beat up as in the reciprocal, that was also amazing too. So there were little pockets of joy ahead of all of that. So it was really good. Um, yeah, I was floored by it when they all came back. What were you going through when we saw the portals opening up? What was going through your mind in that scene?
I was kind of sad, no, kind of happy in my
Mhm.
heart, that some of them left, and some people survived, others didn't.
Mhm.
At least at the end too, that Thanos lost, or he died, right?
Mhm.
After all the evil like he tried to do. So it's like a justice thing for me. I
Mhm.
thought it was really, really good, well done, and I had the biggest smile on my face. Anyway, so that was my view.
What about seeing Chadwick Boseman at the end, like when he comes back? Because it's bittersweet when you see him come back from the dead in this movie, but then you see the character, like you see, what I'm saying, like getting to it now, when he goes Mumbombe and he's calling everyone out from the portal, right?
Mhm.
It's kind of a chilling for me. It was a very chilling sequence.
Yeah.
But it was very, I was, it's a very happy, it's a very, very happy feeling, but
Hmm.
also like deeply hurt and, deeply sorrow, deep sorrow from that.
Yeah. 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 It was kind of, you were happy and then you're sad. You were happy about those who came back,
Hmm.
but there were others who passed away too.
Hmm.
And yeah, life short, kind of made me think, just try to be happy every day. Just think about those who loved you and still love you, and
Hmm.
yeah, just try and be happy. That was the lesson that I learned. And
Question to
yeah.
ask: if you had to pitch somebody, like, let's say I never saw Endgame, how would you tell me about, like, Ray? This is a movie called Endgame. You have to watch it. What would you tell me to get me to watch this movie?
um that that there's funny moments, sad moments, lots of superhero. Yeah, it makes you happy and sad.
I would you recommend watching Infinity War and Endgame back to back? Would that work for you, or you had watched it in chunks?
I'd watch the whole thing. I'd love to watch it back to back.
Yeah, I agree. I
Mhm.
think it's one of those few movies where it's like, I think you watch Infinity War, take take a washing break, and then go into Endgame. Like, but you should, like,
Mm,
for me, I would love to watch the whole thing. I've yet to do that yet, to
mm.
have that full experience. But I
Okay.
would, yeah, I would just love to watch Infinity War and Endgame, like literally like a beautiful sandwich.
Mhm.
Just
Yeah,
the whole thing.
cool.
Uh, and then I think looking at, and I think doing our show. Ooh, I heard that. Doing our show, after watching Endgame and then going back and reviewing all the shows we've been doing, all 23 MCU films,
Yeah.
with the Endgame in mind, like knowing
Mhm.
where this all leads into, even before they wrote Endgame, just to see
Right.
all these little tie-ins. I mean, giving relevance to Thor Ragnarok. No, I mean Thor Dark World, making that seem important. Certain movies that, certain things that you and I would never have foreseen, or know how this would tie into, because this movie was a perfect sequel or add-on or extension of every other film that existed. I've never seen anything that can, um, connect to all 23 films over 11 years. There's something in it. Maybe not so much the first Iron Man, probably, or the second Iron Man, but like, or the like the first Incredible Hulk. But like once you get into it, like phase two, or the first Avengers movie, everything really flows. Everything really connects to, um, like, with all of phase two, all of phase three. It really does, like, connect to all of that, and that's something I've never seen. I've never seen a film that really connects to everything that came before it.
Yeah, it's true.
And as much as people love Star Wars, uh, I can't say that for Star Wars. As much as I love, like, Star Wars and Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi, its sequels or prequels doesn't have that connection to what came before or after, or what I'm trying to get at. Like, there's nothing. It's like, though some of those films are great. It's a rare gift to see that kind of, like, callback.
Which one do you like the best, or none of them?
Oh,
Or if you had to say to like one of them?
so between Star Wars, between, Marvel and
Yeah.
DC, are those are the three,
Um,
or which ones are my choices? Sorry.
you're okay. Okay, it's okay. Star Wars and Marvel.
Well,
Those are your choices.
okay. The
Excuse me.
thing with watching Star Wars, and especially the first one,
Hmm.
it's almost like a religious experience. It's a moving experience. I mean, that's
Right.
why.
Okay.
No, that's why it's held. That's why you have a legion of fans. You
Mm,
know,
okay.
people's
Okay.
careers choices came from Star Wars. So
True.
I mean, I can't knock Star Wars for being Star Wars. I mean, it's
Right.
what Lucas did was
Yeah.
unbelievable.
I
But
gotcha.
but though I say that, I'm left with the feeling I have after seeing the saga, um, nothing comes close to what I experienced from the saga. Like
Mm-hmm.
the conclusion, like having seen everything and walking away from it, being satisfied.
Mm-hmm.
Star Wars did not give that to me, unfortunately. I wish it
Okay.
did. I really,
Right.
I really wish it did, because it had decades, like was it 4 decades?
Yeah.
It had
For
four, it
yeah.
had 4 decades to give the people who were like die-hard Legion. I mean, people who
Mm-hmm.
put tattoos on their bodies.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like and I don't think it I don't think it lived up to the hype. It didn't. It didn't. I wouldn't. Yeah. Endgame gave me everything I wanted, and things
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know I wanted, and more.
Right.
So to
Okay.
walk away satisfied and happy and filled with joy and happiness and great reverence. I mean, Endgame gave me that. Uh, Unfortunately, more so than Star Wars. But not to take away from Star Wars for being an iconic series. I'd say
Mm-hmm.
Endgame. Well, I keep saying Endgame. I'd say Marvel surpasses Star Wars by closing the chapter far better. And I would lean Marvel.
Okay.
You?
Cool.
How about you?
Yeah, I would say the end game Marvel gave me like an experience I've never had before,
Mhm.
which was just amazing. And I would definitely give it a 10.
Yeah.
And yeah, like I'd give it an 11 out of 10 if I could, you
Mhm.
know. Yeah, the whole experience was awesome. And yeah, I just smile whenever I think of it.
Beautiful.
Yeah.